Joining us now on the Oakland County Megacast is Ray Zovar. He is a sculptor as well as a painter and a creator of many other forms of art as well, including mosaics, and will be one of over 100 juried artists you'll find at this year's Orchard Lake Fine Art Show this weekend, July 30th and 31st in West Bloomfield. Ray, thanks for joining us today.
Good morning, Tyler.
Appreciate having you on. So you are an artist from Wisconsin coming into Michigan for the Orchard Lake Fine Art Show this weekend. You are a sculptor, but you also create so many other forms of art. For you, where did your love of art begin, and how did that eventually turn into a career for you?
Oh, I've been an artist ever since I was a little kid. So the idea of just being able to explore different mediums and take it in different directions is what I'm mostly into. So what you see behind me is luminous sculptures, and those are what we're going to be featuring at the fair. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, luminous sculptures. So for those that are listening on the radio and can view this on demand, civiccentertv.com on our Megacast page this afternoon. Those are sculptures that are illuminated by light, and the light is playing a key role in the design and the execution of these pieces. It's really interesting. Visually, the appeal of it is incredible. And so for you, as you're creating these pieces, obviously, you're sculpting them into something that's artful, but you're also incorporating light into the final result of that art. So as you're approaching creating one of these pieces, Ray, where do you even start? Where does that approach begin?
Well, the interesting thing is that there is first of all, they're cylindrical, and most of them I do create some wall pieces as well, but they're cylindrical. So the viewer actually only sees half of the image at a time, which became just a little bit of a challenge, because there should be some interest to some degree depending upon the angle that you're standing at. But the interesting thing about it is the interplay between the LED, RGB, which is red, green, blue, LEDs with the paintings. So basically, if I paint something yellow and put a blue light behind it, I'll wind up with a shade of green. So that's and the whole sculpture turns out to be that. It's like it's at one stage, whatever you're painting is not quite there until the light system gets put in. So
we're joined by Ray Zovar. He is one of the many artists you'll find at this year's Orchard Lake Fine Art Show, July 30th and 31st. That's Saturday and Sunday in West Bloomfield Township. More information on the art show can be found on hotworks.org. And of course, you can find Ray's art on zovar.com, ZOVAR.com, to view all of his art, including the luminous sculptures, mosaics, and more that he's creating there. And so as you're designing these pieces, particularly for the luminous sculptures, and you're crafting them, you're creating the cylinders, and you're working with the light. Obviously, the light is going to play a key part in there. There's so many different colors that come to it, and that can't be something that's all too simple. How do you approach the way that light impacts each and every one of your pieces?
That's the trick, actually, and it's more than just a trick, because in some cases I don't even know what I'm going to get until the light system gets put in there, and I'll tell people that I get surprised of the smallest little detail that wasn't even there before the light system got in there. It's like all of a sudden, where did this come from? Oh my God, that's fantastic! Look at this little section that's just there. It's just all of a sudden it's jumping out and giving you a three-dimensional look to it and everything. So it really is an interplay between the LGB or the RJ, the lighting and the sculpture and the paintings. So that's where it is. It's just a total interplay that way. As you can see, some of these that are here, they're just, and right now they're rotating through 7 different colors, which is a little bit of a misnomer, because as one color comes in and the other one goes away, there's actually a blend of colors in between. There's a pause feature. If you like it, just hit the pause button and stop it from doing what it's doing. Right now it's rotating at a speed that maybe not too many people can handle. You could slow that down if you wish. You could use solid colors, which is real possible. So yeah, they're crazy fun. They can fit anywhere. I've got them in hospitals. I've got them in law offices. I've got them in commercial settings and residential settings, and they're everywhere. So they're very fun.
Ray, for you, this creating sculptures is one thing. Creating sculptures with light also being a key part of that is something completely different. It's unique. It's something I haven't seen all too much in my, granted, not all that extensive exploration of art. So for you, where did that begin? Your love of incorporating light and the colors of light into your art?
Well, I wanted to create a 360-degree painting, and I did. And it's basically a sculpture since it's a painting standing by itself. So it's painted on a lightweight cotton fabric, and then at that stage, the paint is applied to it in a particular fashion. I'm an abstract expressionist artist, which is a very it's cerebral. So the designs and the creativity that comes out of all that is strictly, like I said, cerebral. It just comes from the brain completely.
So when did you start making these illuminated sculptural paintings?
It's been about 9 years ago, I think, I believe. Let's see, to give you an idea. People are starting to do different things. The interplay of color, light. It's been 9. I think it's been 9 or 10 years. With COVID, I'm not sure if it's 12 or 15 years, or if it's 6 or 4 months, so, somewhere in there. So, but it's been at least about 9 years. We show all over. We've been in the Chicagoland area, and Florida, and everywhere. So yeah, they're crazy fun.
And so before you were doing the illuminated sculptural paintings and you were creating other art, where did that transition really happen? What sparked the change to, this is really interesting to me, this is where I kind of want something I want to really lean into and make a feature of my artistic collection?
It's color. I just love color. I mean, I love mosaics. I create mosaics. I've created wall fountains. I still do. And what the materials that you can use within the sculpture or even the paintings, for that matter, the different kinds of material that you can use, it's fun. They're crazy fun. It's difficult to come up with a specific angle to how this all comes about, but it's color, and that's the bottom line, just strictly color.
Yeah, the mixture of colors in the sculptures that are just sitting behind you. And again, for those listening, for you listening on the radio, civiccentertv.com/megacast. Later on today, we'll have this interview on demand for you, and you'll be able to see this. It really is that mixture of colors, that interaction of colors too. And then the interaction between the colors and the shape of the sculpture also plays a really interesting role. Can you speak to that and how the shaping of the sculpture also impacts the final result of the piece in terms of the way the light also interacts?
Well, since for the most part they're cylindrical, so each step that you take around it, you would have actually a different painting. So it's a 360-degree painting. So a quarter turn one direction, a quarter turn another direction gives you a different outlook for what it is that you see. But again, it just goes back to color. It's all the fantastic splash. If you need it, you can quiet it. It doesn't have to be as bright. It doesn't have to be as quick moving in terms of light. There could be solid colors that you could use. You can minimize the strength of color. And all these interplay. I mean, and there are certain sections that, like I said, I get surprised. All of a sudden I'll look at something and say, where did that come from? How does that there? Why? How could that possibly be? And then I try to take that concept and maybe play with it for the next piece, because each piece actually winds up feeding my art, feeding my creativity. It takes me to the next level as to where I can go with that.
We're joined by Ray Zovar from Zovar Fine Art, joining us on the Oakland County Megacast. He's one of over 100 artists you'll find at this year's Orchard Lake Fine Art Show, July 30th and 31st in West Bloomfield Township. More information on the art show can be found on hotworks.org, and you can find more information on Zovar Fine Art by visiting its website, zovar.com, 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 to view all of Ray's art online before you see him at this year's Orchard Lake Fine Art Show. Ray, as you are creating these pieces, what goes into the lighting element of it in terms of what you're putting together? Because people know sculptures, they kind of have an idea of how you're putting together a sculpted piece, or how another sculpture artist is putting together a sculpted piece. But how do you arrange the lighting in there in a way that A, creates the effect that it creates, but also B, isn't some heavy additional add-on to these art pieces that people have to lug around in order to decorate their homes or other spaces they're putting your art in?
Well, initially, I sold them without a light system. Going back 9+ years, people purchased them and just put them in the window and had sunlight illuminate them. Then I chose to take one and just for the heck of it put puck lights on the bottom. Puck lights shined up, and I thought, well, that's really pretty cool. Look at that. It's like it's being lit now from the inside. And then at that stage, LEDs came about in white only in strip lights, and that was attached to the back, and that was very nice itself. It's like it was throwing in a white light that it never had before. But now LEDs come in RGB, which again I said is red, green, blue, and at that point, getting the blends and the interaction between the colors that are painted on there. It's a fun kind of interaction. It's endless. It's endless possibilities. So you can never get bored with the art. All you got to do is just change the color. If this is something you're not interested in, make it blue. Make it red. make it yellow.
Especially as technology advances, does that make it easier for you too to create these pieces and give that sort of customizable effect to it for your customers, for those that are buying your art, and have them then take a little bit of control over what the final piece looks like?
Yes, I basically tell this to everybody that it's interactive. You can interact with your art, so you can never get bored of it. Just simply push the button, change the color. It's really pretty simple. It's actually, the simplicity is just there. It's just change it.
We're joined by Ray Zovar on the Oakland County Megacast. You'll find him at this year's Orchard Lake Fine Art Show Saturday, July 30th, Sunday, July 31st on Powers and Daly Road, literally on the roads. They're closed off. Don't worry, it's safe. In West Bloomfield, just off of Orchard Lake, heading south toward M10, the Lodge in West Bloomfield Township. You can find more of Ray's art on his website, zovar.com, zovar.com, ZOVAR.com. And learn more about all of his art, including the luminous sculptures, but also mosaics, acrylic paintings, and more on his website. And you'll find him at this year's Orchard Lake Fine Art Show. Ray, you're from Wisconsin. You're coming in to West Bloomfield for this particular art show. What about the Orchard Lake Fine Art Show as an artist attracted you to this particular show?
It is probably one of the finer shows in the given area. I mean, there are shows that obviously occur all over the United States and Europe, but this is one of the better shows that are out there. Otherwise, I wouldn't be there. Simple as that. It's just the bottom line says, hey, I'm not going to some place where nobody likes art. So this should be a fantastic show, and I recommend everybody to show up, please. If anything, no obligation, just come in and look, if anything, and take one of these remotes and play with them, if anything, just to have a fun time.
Right. For you as an artist, obviously the sales element of it, the business element of it is a critical part of going to these art shows. But what beyond that do you as an artist get out of this experience that is fulfilling to you as an artist and maybe even inspiring to you as an artist?
Well, what's really inspiring is the first word that generally comes out of everybody's mouth when they either turn the corner, walk past my booth, is they say, wow. and it's a wow experience. I seriously, even people with very, very traditional tastes that have no interest in abstract expressionism will get the expression wow. It's just so fun, and that's actually what feeds me. It keeps me going. It's so nice to be able to create something that is so appealing to so many people from all ages. Seriously. So it's wonderful to be able to put something out in the world that we know is going to be there for the next billion. That's the other thing too, is I create the materials that I use. I look for longevity. I want to make sure that this is going to be here for the next millennium. So I want to. I look for products that are light fast. They're not going to fade. They're going to be there for a long, long time. And the interesting thing about LEDs is they're good for 50,000 continuous hours of use. And I think they just put that number on to have an end date, not that they expect one. And everything can be either replaced if need be, or if there's something new in the market that we don't even know about at this stage of the game, it can all be changed. Strip lights will be around forever. So it'll be they're good for longevity.
Zovarart.com is the website for more information on Ray Zovar's art. And you can also find him at this year's Orchard Lake Fine Art Show, Saturday, July 30th, Sunday, July 31st in West Bloomfield Township, just off of Orchard Lake Road, heading south toward M10 on Powers and Daly Road in West Bloomfield. Ray, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much, Tyler. Appreciate it.